A lot of times players are just counted out, and a lot of times people just think there's going to be a bad player after one season. But here I am to prove that after one bad season, it does not mean that a player cannot be good. It does not mean that a player can't progress into becoming a good player. And these players are some examples of why you just need to give players some time and to adapt perhaps to the league. These are some examples that some players who came back, who glowed up, and are just a new version of themselves, and especially going into the 2024-25 season, they're just new players. They're looked at a different light compared to what they were in 2023. Starting off for me is a new signing for Manchester United, and that's Joshua Zirkzee. He is a player who, to be honest, he has meme compilations. If you look up on YouTube, he has meme compilations for Bayern. Bayern fans did not like him. He came in as a youth prodigy, someone who can perhaps replace someone like Robert Lewandowski, but it just didn't turn out well, and it wasn't meant to be for him at Bayern. He was in the youth ranks for a long time at Bayern, and eventually he went to Bayern Munich to play for the first team, and he just wasn't very impressive. Although you can see he wasn't given chances. We've seen players who are young and given a little bit of chance, like Tell right now in Bayern, who has shown flashes of brilliance. Zirkzee has done none of that, and when he was Bayern, we didn't see any of that. But him moving to a team like Bologna was the best thing that could happen to him. In his first season for Bologna, it wasn't anything impressive, but you could see that he is developing. He's becoming a better player. In that season, in the 2022-2023 season, he had only 4 goal contributions. Man United would not sign a player like that, a striker with 4 goal contributions, especially 2 goals only. But the season he had after, in the 2023-2024 season, incredible. It's not only about goals, but in that season, the way he was dribbling, the way he's just silky. He's tall, he's lanky, but the way he keeps the ball is very impressive, and he had 11 goals and 5 assists. And it's in a team like Bologna, but still, Bologna was a team that, they contributed all together. It wasn't like someone was a huge top scorer in the team, someone who was carrying the team. This was a whole group effort in Bologna. Zirkzee, he was a huge part of that, and he was the main man up top, and just the contributions he had was great. And it's the reason why Bologna are in the Champions League. Next player is a pretty obvious one, and that is Cole Palmer. Or we should just call him Cold Palmer, because this guy, he's cold. That's not even a core nickname. He is cold. He's a cold player. And he's Chelsea's main man. He is their superstar. Something that, listen, we know Palmer had the talent before, even Man City. He was scoring Super Cups. He was contributing at times off the bench. Man City is a very hard team to get into, and there's no shame in not playing for Man City. Foden took years to get into the Man City team, so even if Palmer stayed, I think Palmer would have got into the Man City team eventually, but him making that move was just huge, and he is a superstar. He is a superstar. Last season, we saw, this season, like 2022-2023, he didn't do much. He didn't do anything at all, to be honest. That season, he only had 1 assist for the whole season, and now when you look at him, he was almost top scorer. If there was no Haaland, he would have been top scorer. He had 22 goals and 11 assists in this horrible Chelsea team. That was a horrible Chelsea team, and he was the main man. So, huge improvement for Palmer. At the time, a lot of people were saying that price tag for Palmer is ridiculous. It was like 40 million, I believe. But now looking at it, it's a bargain. Compared to what a lot of players Chelsea are signing, Palmer is a diamond in the rough. So, people should not be complaining about that price tag. He's well worth that. He should be worth 100 mil now. He went from someone who was just a bench player to a superstar in the matter of a season. Next player for me is Fermin Lopez. For me, a guy who his come up was remarkable. He was a guy who was playing in like the 3rd division of Spain, if I'm correct. Let me just check one more time. But he was playing for Linares, if I'm pronouncing that right. I don't think you guys have ever heard of that team. It was the 4th tier of Spanish football. This is where he was playing in 2022-2023. That is crazy. We've never heard of a story like that. I think not a lot of people are talking about the story, but going from 4th division Spanish team to just straight away starting for Barca and being a huge part of Barca in the next season, that's remarkable. It's something unheard of, and to be honest, he might have the biggest glow up out of all these players. But Fermin didn't just get the opportunity for no reason. Fermin had to prove himself. He had to prove himself, and that's what he did in the friendlies. That goal against Real Madrid in the preseason, wow. Even as a Real Madrid fan, I was like, wow, who is this kid? Who is this kid? And after that, Barca trusted him. He was very impressive in the preseason tour, and after that, Fermin just got into the team and he became a huge part of Barcelona. He played incredible. Even after the preseason tour, for Barca this season in La Liga, 8 goals from midfielder. Yeah, he was so good. He was so good in my opinion, and he's still so young. So there's more potential in him going from 4th division of Spanish football to the best quality of football in the 1st division. You have to give him big credit for that. A player who always had potential, in my opinion, was Anthony Gordon. but a lot of people were criticizing him in the 2022-2023 season. I agree, he wasn't the best then, but the way he came back in the 2023-2024 season is great, and he's shown why Newcastle paid this much for him. And to be honest, all he needed was time. We all saw the potential that Gordon had, but all he needed was time. And Everton, sometimes he wasn't the best as well. But Anthony Gordon, right now his market value is like 60 million. He's a player that's going to be a staple in this Newcastle team. That was a huge get for Newcastle. And he had double digits in both goals and assists. 11 goals and 10 assists. While the previous seasons he would have like a goal a season. Or last season he had 4 goals a season. That's not good enough. That was not good enough for a lot of Everton and Newcastle fans. But now, in Newcastle, he's just a different player. Eddie Howe has made him into a great player. So, Anthony Gordon, he's only going to go up from here. Great left winger. Very silky, smooth. Great right foot, to be honest. He has a good strike on him. Yeah, he's only going to improve in this team. The last player for now, if you guys want a part 2, let me know. But it's Mateta. Mateta, he might have had the biggest glow up, to be honest. He was called the worst striker in the Premier League.
Is that Mateta?
God.
Where's Odward? Put him right next to him.
Oh my God.
Yeah, done. Wherever Odward is, put him right next to him, please, inshallah. Raul Jimenez, is that?
Jimenez, I think.
And it wasn't only them, to be honest. Even in my opinion, he was one of the worst strikers in the Premier League and one of the worst finishers in the Premier League. Because Crystal Palace, they had players like Zaha, they had players like Eze, they had players like Olise. But the player they had up top most of the time was a guy like Mateta, someone who a lot of people didn't value. Wasn't a guy who really got them excited. But after this season, Mateta's stock has gone up to a crazy high, because that was something that we did not expect. We did not expect Mateta to come out playing like this season. And a lot of credit has to go to his new manager, Glasner. Pretty good this season. He was improved. But if you look at Mateta's last 3 seasons in Prem before this breakout one, he had what? Like 9 goals combined. Wow. Like, that is crazy compared to the 16 goals he scored this season and the 5 assists. He was just very good. His finishing was just top notch. He was a different player. And like a lot of these players, Mateta was a different player, but to me he was the most different player out of all of them. He was the most improved, that's for sure. But let me know what players you guys think have improved from the 2022-2023 season, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts, and like, subscribe, and peace out.